YouTube, what's going on? It's your man, and I am here doing another video. 2 days in a row, y'all. Now, it is about to snow in Houston because I've done 2 videos in a row. So anyway, this today was the part one, day one of the orientation. Um, I'm tired. But I don't know. Coming into hotels, man, I usually can't sleep. So the first day I come in, I just try to get settled. I do a lot of sanitizing, not just because of the corona thing, but I'm a germaphobe, so I'm spray bleaching every single thing that I might touch, stuff that I know I'm not gonna touch, but it's just close by. I'm just a germaphobe, so knocked that out. By the time I laid down and got comfortable, it was time to get up for real. So I was tired. So class was like I got to the terminal about 6:45 ish, 6:50 ish, and we were there until about 3:30. So I was pretty tired. So I came in and we did some paperwork, and after doing the paperwork, had to take and turn my truck into the shop so that it could be inspected and um, get um, the digital or whatever you want to call it, the onboard device that does the logs installed and the lettering put on the truck and all that kind of stuff. So that did not get done today for me. They completed a lot of people, but they did not complete me. Did the drug testing and just stuff here and there, man. Not really a whole bunch. Well, I will tell you, man, there are some characters in this orientation class. I've had some pretty cool orientation classes, but I will tell you this is by far the funniest. The orientation here is really really laid back. It's not like every minute of the day is dedicated to something like you might have at a Snyder or something like that, where they just doing a little too much. This one is kind of just they doing what they got to do, running through the slides, running through the videos, running through the paperwork, but it's not really intense or stuff like that. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 1st, which is I think tomorrow's the first. Yeah, I think tomorrow's the first. Let's see first before I start talking outside my face. No, sorry. Tomorrow's the 31st. So Tuesday, March the 31st. We're gonna go over um, their mobile logging device, how to work it, um, the load board, all that kind of stuff. So um, tomorrow's the important day where you learn how to make your money, how to make sure you get paid, paperwork, stuff like that, which is what we're all here for. So we're doing that tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm gonna make sure I get some rest tonight. So I'm up and awake for tomorrow. Um, it was cool, but man, let me tell you, these jokers in this class are so country. And what I mean by country is anybody who's from where I'm from, man. And I feel like I'm sure it's like this for everybody, but with Virginia being where we are, if you're too far up north, Baltimore or higher, you have an accent. If you're South Carolina or middle of North Carolina and lower, you got an accent. And the further away you get, it's like it gets crazy and crazy. So these guys are here are hilarious. We had a really, really good time laughing out of the day in orientation. Um, so the crazy thing is today, so I told you when I first got there, I had to turn in my truck. So we also had to do a road test around 11 o'clock or so. And I was not the last person, but I was close to the last person. They had two instructors doing the road test. He was like, "Hey man, you know," I told him, I said, "Look man, I drive an automatic," which you guys know I drive an automatic. I've been in my truck now for almost 2 years, so I haven't driven a manual in 2 years. So I'm like, "Look, I drive an automatic." He's like, "All right, cool." Um, so I guess one instructor does manuals, one instructor does automatics. I'm sure Both of them can do manuals, but only one of them does automatics. So he was like, "Hey man, you gotta wait for him." I'm like, I said, what do you have me driving? Because I said, if we're gonna drive a Pro Star, I'm gonna wait on the automatic. And the reason why is because I hate the way the manual gear shifter is on the internationals. So for that reason, I won't even drive it. He said, "Oh, I got a Freightliner out there." I'm like, "Oh, all right, I'll drive the 10 speed then." You know. And so I went out and I did my road test on the 10 speed, which is the first time I've driven a manual. And sheesh, God knows when. I can't tell you the last time I was in a manual. But it's been over 2 years, maybe longer than that. But it's been at least 2 years since I've driven in a manual. But certain things don't leave. It was a little rough starting out. I didn't stall out or nothing like that. But um, it's a little rough. You know, remembering how to get back. My floating was good. Um, and all of that. It was just getting back into the groove. And by floating, what I mean is switching gears without clutching. So I was floating fine. It was just, getting back into it, and I had to back with the clutch, which was different. But I've always liked backing with the clutch better anyway. So, if you can back, you can back. It is what it is. So it was pretty smooth. Of course, that's nothing. Driving and backing is nothing. So got that knocked out. So, it was a pretty simple day. A lot of the time was sitting around not doing much because it's kind of an individual process. Um, and in this orientation, they have owner ops, and they also have owner ops, lease ops, and company drivers up to a certain point. So there's certain paperwork that each bracket of people need to fill out. I came prepared, so that what I mean by that is all of my paperwork was done, 2290s and all that kind of stuff. With a guy who just got their truck, some of the newer people still had to do 2290 paperwork. Um, they still trying to figure out the whole filling out a W-9 with the EIN number and all that. Well, I mean, I've been doing that for years, so to me that stuff is easy. I knocked out a lot of the paperwork before I got here, so I was doing a lot of sitting around, and just being there. But pretty much that was it, man. Today was pretty smooth. By the way, shout out to the Avengers Harley Davidson shirt. Yes, you know this. Um, so that was pretty much it, man. Like I said, it was pretty simple. I am, from what I know, the pay period here is from Sunday to Saturday night. So, um, hopefully, they have us checking out of the hotel tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, which means if everything comes back, drug tests and trucks pass out, which I'm one of the few trucks that just hasn't been yet, um, we should be out of here tomorrow. There's no need to even come on Wednesday. So I'm hoping all of that gets done, and that'll basically give me the whole week to run. And because I am so far away from home, it really doesn't matter where I load to. Even if I decide to go home, I should be doing well, which I don't plan on going home. So we'll see, man. My goal is to try to run out for the next week or two and try to recover some of this money I've been putting into the maintenance, into the truck. Man, the last week alone, I put new airbags, 2 new rear airbags. I put new airlines and E-line, a whole new 3-piece. I put in a blower motor, a front blower motor, and I put that in myself. So I saved some money, but the part was still $200, $250, I think it was. So, but I saved the money by putting it in myself. I changed the rear actuator, the rear blower actuator, which just turns it from air conditioner to heat. Mine was stuck, so I changed that out. I did that myself, so I saved myself money on that. Now let me tell you something I learned, which I didn't know. I thought it was an isolated incident I was having, The windows, the bunk windows and ProStars leak water so bad. When I was on the way up here, I stopped in Knoxville, Tennessee to take my break, and it like tsunamied. And I woke up out of my dream. I thought I had peed on myself because it was so wet. I'm like, oh crap! Like no water's leaking in through the freaking windows. The thankfully it wasn't leaking hard like where I laid my head at. It was leaking harder towards my feet. But the problem is where my feet is, my TV is sitting right there, mounted on the wall. And at this point, I don't even think the TV's no good. I'm scared to even plug it up. It's a wall plug right there, and I know it's been catching all this type of water. So I went to Walmart when I got here and bought a can of Flex Seal, and I'm hoping that that'll do it. I didn't know that so many people had this issue until I started linking up how to fix it. Because at this point, man, if I can't fix it myself, I'm not going into a shop. I'm just not going to do it. I've spent way too much money on this truck and way too much downtime for things that I probably could have figured out myself. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, man, forget it. I'll pay somebody to fix what I messed up before I pay them to fix something that I have a chance of fixing. That's just kind of where I am at this point. So I was looking up how to fix it, and I'm like, man, everybody's having this issue at these bunks. And then when I got here, I was at Walmart, and there's no way to get to your bunk window without a step ladder or something. And there was a guy who's a company driver for the company I'm at, and he was in the parking lot, and he was like, hey man, you can use my wheels and step on my wheels so that you can spray the Flex Seal on the top of your window seal. And I looked at his windows, and they had used caulking on his windows. So obviously, and they use like regular caulking, like window caulking for a house. So obviously, this is a major issue. So I sprayed in a few places, and I got that done. And hopefully that'll seal up. We had some rain tonight, so I'll go check the truck tomorrow to see if anything is wet. If it's not, I know it worked. If it is, then I'll go buy that heavy duty caulking. The only reason why I didn't buy the caulking at first is because my truck is silver and the caulking is white and the window's black. So I'm like, I don't want that big old white seal around it. It just looks horrible. So I want the Flex Seal because it's Flex Seal. It's $12 a can. It should work. And it was clear. So I'm like, because it's clear, maybe it'll work. But it's not really a foamer. It's kind of like a mist. I don't think it's going to work. It was worth the try. I've tried other things that don't work. For $13, I'll try anything. So we shall see. But, hey, once again, man, I appreciate y'all. I have a new slogan for the channel. I've said this to you before. And now that I am back over the road, this is the way I run my over-the-road journey. Like to hear it? Here it go. My favorite slogan as a driver, as a hustler, as a grinder. Don't do yesterday's work tomorrow. Do tomorrow's work today. What does that mean? First part, don't do yesterday's work tomorrow, which means do everything you can do today, okay? Stop working from behind. Stop cleaning up the mess you left and start leaving yourself going forward. So don't do yesterday's work today, okay? Don't do yesterday's work tomorrow, do tomorrow's work today, which means stay ahead of the game. If you can drive another 40 miles, 50 miles today, and that'll set you up for a perfect spot for tomorrow, do it, because now you're doing tomorrow's work today, okay? If you can stop an hour and a half early and go to your favorite truck stop, but you really need to get down the road, and it's gonna set you back tomorrow, now you're doing the work that you could have done yesterday, today, so you're hustling backwards, right? So that's all that means. Don't do yesterday's work tomorrow, do tomorrow's work today. Don't do yesterday's work tomorrow, do tomorrow's work today. As always, it's your man King Bishop. Y'all be easy. God bless y'all. Please. Hey, remember, continue, because I'm not going to tell y'all to, because y'all always do it. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe, man. I appreciate y'all. Easy.